MBA in US is not STEM. There are some colleges which are STEM, but majority are not. So UT Dallas give that advantage of STEM, being a STEM. So which help you post your masters. You can have another additional 3 years apart from 1 plus 2, total 3 years to work in US. Indian students should understand, like once you finish your degree, you have to get a job in 90 days. Leadership changes, something happened, you got fired. You have 60 days to get a job. If you don't get a job in 60 days, you have to move back to your home country. So these are the challenges which we were not aware when we going. And like if you take any help from the consulting companies, they never going to disclose these things.
You went to work at Tesla. I'm sure that was really cool.
Yeah.
How do you secure a job and land a job at Tesla of all the places?
Hello everyone. Pursuing a master's degree abroad can be a game changer, but it comes with its own set of challenges, from choosing the right university to navigating the job market afterwards. Today I'll be talking to Shivam Phutela, who has successfully tackled these challenges with his master's from University of Texas at Dallas. Shivam built a career in supply chain management, kickstarting the career in the US with Tesla. Later, he returned to India and took up leadership roles. What's more, he is also setting up a startup with his brother. But for your study abroad journey, Shivam has an important piece of advice. Let's dive right in to find what it is. I love data. It resolves misinformation. Let's talk to experts, analyze news, and smartly plan your study abroad journey. Hello aspirants, welcome to Videshi Chai. Hi Shivam, welcome to Videshi Chai.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Right, we want to really start off with the startup that you're working on. Very curious to understand what you're doing and how you started it.
So I actually, with my brother, we're building this brand into FMCG sector. We're trying to create a healthy awareness, healthy snacking company. We started with Fox Nuts products in 2020. We are around 17 to 18 products specifically in Fox Nuts, and then we're trying to add more products which are healthy, like on the millets. So that's the idea is all about, because we could see during COVID and post-COVID, the eating trends have changed. People are consuming more meals. So we wanted to eliminate the like the fried and all that stuff, all the fried food. We're trying to give the healthy snacking options to Indian customers, and we're going to export down the line. So that's the briefly about my startup.
Yeah. You had a very interesting journey from working in the automotive sector and now having your own startup in the FMCG segment.
Yeah.
And we'll cover your journey. But before that, if you can just take a minute to introduce yourself to our viewers, just from your school days, college days, where you were born and brought up, and to what all you've done primarily, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritties of it.
Definitely. So I was born and raised in Delhi. I did my schooling from here itself, from Doon Public School, Paschim Vihar. Post my schooling, I went to University of Petroleum and Energy Studies. I did automotive engineering there. It is a really nice campus, specifically in Dehradun. Good experience. And then post then I started working with Mahindra & Mahindra. It was a campus placement. So Mahindra comes and recruits students based upon the academics, based upon the extracurricular activities and the process they have, like of interview, GDPI. You crack and all that stuff, and then you get into the company. So I started working with them. Really nice experience, because as a first student coming out of a college to get experience like in Mahindra, because Mahindra give you that platform to understand what it takes to run a global company. Because if you see Mahindra as a company, their entire leadership is like either US return or have worked in a good organizations, studied in a good colleges, even in India. So that has given me a mindset to like how to take my career and way to take my career. So during that initial 5 years with Mahindra was quite amazing. Worked in supply chain, worked on global projects, worked with vendors. So that have built that platform me to take went to US and did my masters from there. And then post we can discuss what I did in US. So
Shivam, you talked about your work experience at Mahindra. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about it, and also focus on how a work experience helps a student to apply for overseas education? And is it really important? Or what kind of value does it add to a student's overall profile?
See, to be honest, I feel like work experience is really important, because like in India, it's like we do a degree, we go into a college, or it's IIT, IIMs, company comes and picked it. But it doesn't work in US like that. You have to, companies hire you what you bring to the table, what experience you're bringing apart from your education. So it's good to have experience in India. I would say 3 to 4 years, a very good amount of years of experience you spend in India to see where you can take your career down the line. Suppose for me, I did supply chain masters. I did supply chain because I was having experience in supply chain in India. I worked with Mahindra supply chain. It has given me very good insights how the global projects works,
Yeah.
how the global supply chain works, which vendors to work, how to procure things,
Yeah.
how to fulfill that. So entire process I was able to understand. So during that 4-5 years with Mahindra, I could able to figure out how I can take this career down the line. So that built the foundation for me. Other I would definitely want to add is communication, which is a big challenge for Indian students. Going outside, they were not prepared for the like that communication we have in the with the corporates in US. So I highly recommend students going with the Toastmasters. So Toastmasters is a platform which basically like have you polish your public speaking skills. So I used to do that a lot, and that really helped me when I went out and directly got internships and job. But I would see in US students are specifically giving extra time for a Toastmasters, upskilling their communication skills.
Yeah.
That can be done in India itself. Why to waste time there?
Yeah.
Directly go and work, apply for roles. So that's the foundation I would say. It's really important to see where you can take your career. First job is really important to build that foundation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, to paraphrase, therefore, use your first job to build a brand for yourself, sort of build a work history that you can then leverage.
Yeah.
And also focus on upskilling key skills, especially soft skills.
Yeah.
Because that's something you're not going to be able to pick up immediately.
Exactly.
And something that requires a lot of work.
Yeah. No, definitely. Soft skill is something which I think even Indian colleges are giving lots of emphasis right now, even during my time when I passed out. Communication, presentation skills, and obviously that's going to help you in US too, or any other country down the line. So yeah, soft skill is a key to success. Yeah.
So from Mahindra, you went to UT Dallas.
Yeah.
Right. So how did you decide on UT Dallas as a destination for your masters?
Yeah.
And in hindsight, would you say it was the right decision?
See, to be honest, there are things you have to figure out. Like first, why US, right? There are other countries to go to, Europe, Canada, and other stuff. But I have that mindset because of the work authorization which I want to get in US.
Yeah.
So that's something I was aware with my friends which were already in US.
Yeah.
And then if you see, there's a website called US News which gives you ranking like specifically to supply chain, which are the top colleges.
Yeah.
So I use that ranking, US News ranking, to figure out which are the top colleges. Either it's in Europe, either it's in US, and then I apply accordingly.
Got it.
And then UT Dallas was coming in that top list. There are other colleges, Penn State, Michigan State. UT Dallas is one of the college for the supply chain. Other thing is, UT Dallas give you that STEM program because MBA in US is not STEM. There are some colleges which are STEM, but majority are not. So UT Dallas give that advantage of STEM, being a STEM. So which help you post your masters. You can have another additional 3 years apart from 1 + 2, total 3 years to work in US.
Yeah.
So that's a plus point.
Yeah.
And
Huge.
again, to be honest, to answer your question is, it gives you scholarships. In US, Texas as states wants to promote to have the global economy. They are having that education system where they're encouraging students to come to Texas and then work there down the line. So that give you a scholarship also. So UT Dallas is one of the college which give you scholarship, but getting a scholarship is not easy.
Yeah.
You have to be in a top cream. Like I was scoring 4 out of 4 GPA. I was doing extracurricular activities. I built that network with my seniors, with my faculty, so that like out of 100, so 4 of us got scholarship. So competition is quite high, but that's going to define how your journey going to be down the line in US also.
Yeah.
Like post your masters, again, it's a big competition to get the job and then work there. So to nutshell, your college, to answer is Texas is a cheaper to live also as compared to other states. If you see California have majority of the jobs, Texas is also, but this cost of saving is also very less in Texas. Again, and UT Dallas give you scholarships. So that's the primarily reasons. And again, this ranking wise, which you were discussing, as per the US News, it was fitting all my requirements. So that's why I choose UT Dallas.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Double click on scholarships. So what are some of the things that aspirants can do to make sure that their chances of scholarships are maximized at the get-go?
Yeah.
Like I've heard things like that you should be applying early.
Yeah.
And if that's true, then that, and what else?
See, usually for the fall intake, right, which is in August, right, the 1 year before the process starts, right? So you should be done with your GRE, GMAT, or TOEFL. I would say by October or September. It's a good time to apply in October because again, first students get some advantage, but that's not only the criteria. Your scores, your GRE, GMAT scores also a big criteria to get the scholarship. Your TOEFL scores plus your SOP. What are you going to write in your SOP? Statement of purpose. Like what you did in the past, why you want to do this program, what this program is going to add value to your career. So your statement of purpose should define everything and your academics. So this all adds up to getting a scholarship. Yeah.
Got it. So the decision of the scholarship, is it purely based on merit or is there a means criteria also? Many Indian colleges have a means criteria.
What do you mean means?
So if you come from lower income background, you get a priority.
No, that's not the case in US. It's mostly on the merit, which I would discuss, like your experience, your academics, your extracurricular activities. So that's mostly on the merit. It's not if you're coming from a low income family, it doesn't work like that. Again, it's all the merit base here.
Got it.
Yeah.
So after UT Dallas, you went to work at Tesla. I'm sure that was really cool.
Yeah.
How do you secure a job and land a job at Tesla of all the places? Can you share some strategies focusing on what you did and what new students coming in should be doing to make sure that they land a job that they really want?
Yeah. See, again, there are good amount of opportunities in US. Tesla also is a good company because they give you an opportunity for a new students, young crowd to come and work for them. You see how visionary Elon Musk is.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you the strategy here is, suppose for me, I was coming from an automotive supply chain background.
Yeah.
And the role I got was again in automotive supply chain. So it was connecting the dot what I was bringing to the table for the company. So I applied for it. I linked LinkedIn. I think we didn't able to discuss the power of LinkedIn here. LinkedIn is a tool is very useful in US. It's getting attention in India also, how you can network and get your applications fulfilled, because I applied and then I was able to know who is a hiring manager. So I sent a direct DM to the hiring manager on LinkedIn, like showcasing my skill set, what I'm bringing to the table. He was interested to interview me, and then once interview is done, I was able to clear it. So again, there's two things. One is LinkedIn strategy should be built through that. Other is what experience you have, and then again, because there are 100 people must be applying, right?
Yeah.
How to get shortlisted again through LinkedIn, which we discuss. Apart from that, your resume should be short and script, talking about the job you're applying to.
Yeah.
And again, Tesla is a very good company in a way. They encourage young students or young people to come and work for him. So that experience was able to help me to get the role there. And it was quite challenging as compared to Indian atmosphere, what I worked in.
Yeah.
The amount of work pressure, but again, you learn from it, right? So yeah, that was a really nice experience working for Tesla. Then post that, I went into the Boeing. But I think we can discuss more in that.
No, please continue. So I would love to hear about your Boeing experience as well.
Yeah.
How do you make the switch?
Yeah.
And was there a particular driver that pointed you towards Boeing? And how was that experience?
See, again, Boeing, it was a supply chain role. This all roles which we discuss is into the supply chain. So Boeing role was, again, I was bringing that experience of Mahindra and Tesla, which was relevant for the Boeing role. I was bringing that supply chain experience. So Boeing was more of a leadership role where for me, I was to work with vendors, I used to work with customer engagement, I was to working with supplier performances. So during the 2 years, it was able to help me. Even my counterpart was in Europe. So I was able to understand how these two countries are connected on the supply chain side also. And that was a really nice experience. You're able to understand how the planes are being built. The volume of planes are quite less. Like they make this 3 to 4 planes throughout the years. But again, it's a very strict driven company about quality.
Yeah.
They don't source part from other countries. They're very rigid from where they're sourcing. And then my visa got expired post that. Then I came back. But we can go in detail later questions. But experience-wise, as I told you, it is something was connecting the dots from the previous experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you compare your experience in automotive sector in India at Mahindra to the work that you've done in Tesla, what were the key differences in terms of work culture or maybe some other key aspects that you would want to highlight?
See, to be honest, the difference is the amount of deliverables. Like suppose we're making 5,000 cars in India. I'm just giving you numbers to give you comparison. That's what we're making per month. But in Tesla, we're making same amount of cars in 1 week.
Oh, wow.
So you can figure out like the crunch you have. Like you have to work with more vendors. You have to bring the parts to the factory. The parts should be quality wise right. So there is a big amount of pressure. But again, the openness is quite there. People are more willing to give you challenges, and you should fulfill that challenges. That shows how you can become a leader down the line. Like your leadership skills can be shown from the challenge you are being faced.
Yeah.
So that's definitely is a good experience. I'm not saying India companies doesn't give you that challenges, but I think I was in my initial years where doesn't have that much responsibilities, but down the line at Tesla I had bigger responsibilities. I was able to fulfill that, and same goes with Boeing.
Yeah, and you mentioned that there were visa-related challenges.
Yeah.
Right? So can you talk a little bit about that? What happened exactly? And maybe learning from experience, what's something that incoming students, current students can do to navigate those visa-related challenges?
See, we as students, most of Indians doesn't know what are the visa challenges we have for the US, right? For other countries also.
Yeah.
That's something I'm going to put emphasis here.
Yeah.
Because when you going for a US, there is 2 programs. One is STEM, one is non-STEM.
Yeah.
STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
Yeah.
Program related to this have additional work authorization. So you can work for another 2 years in US if you're doing these programs. These programs, because the US population is doing less programs, that's why they want to promote these programs. They're more towards commercial programs.
Yeah.
That's why these programs get that emphasis. So my program was STEM. It was Masters of Science in Supply Chain.
Yeah.
So I was able to get that additional 2 years post my degree. So 1 plus 2. So 3 years I was to work. And during this 3 years, if you're H1B, because the company working, the employer working, if they file H1B for you, if it comes in a lottery, then you get another extension.
Yeah.
And from that extension, they file a green card for you, which is called I-140.
Yeah.
It's a document which they file, and then once this document is filed, then you come in a queue of green card, which is going to take another 15 years, 20 years down the line, what administration of US government is, right? During Trump, it got increased, right? So these are the definitely challenges which Indian students should understand.
Yeah.
Like once you finish your degree, you have to get a job in 90 days. That's a big challenge. You should be mentally prepared for it. So that's why getting experience in India is really, really important, so that you get the job in 90 days.
Yeah.
And unfortunately got fired because leadership changes, something happened, you got fired. You have 60 days to get a job. If you don't get a job in 60 days, you have to move back to your home country. So these are the challenges which we were not aware when we going. And like if you take any help from the consulting companies, they never going to disclose these things. These are very important points we should know. What are the bottlenecks or the challenges you have? And then once you not able to get your H1B, then you have to come back to India after 3 years, and you get your H1B extension. Then you can stay upon the extension you have. So yeah, that's something is immigration issues. But if you're mentally open to accept that challenges, there's a long way to go.
Yeah. And from what you said and what I understand, the way to prepare for these challenges really is obviously A, to be aware.
Yeah.
And B, to have your options open. So let's say, the first challenge, as you mentioned, is to land a job within 90 days.
Yeah.
And really the way to accomplish that is to start really early.
Yeah.
From the finish date compared to the finish date of your education. Maybe start in, I think typically people start in the 2nd or the 3rd semester to apply for their internships and jobs.
I'll tell you a strategy here. What you can do here, you can complete your core courses, which has to be present on the campus during college. So you can complete your core courses during first year. This strategy I used. Second year, what I did is I took all the online courses, which I can do while I'm working for my company. So what I did is during my second year of education, I got an internship with Mahindra & Mahindra.
Yeah.
I started working with them. And during that work, when I was working, in the evening, I used to finish online courses. So that strategy you can use, because now you have experience of US also. And once you're done with your CPT, curricular practical training, you're done with that. Now for the OPT, you have experience which get you a job in US. So that's a strategy you can use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Right. I know in addition to your masters, you've also completed a bunch of certifications.
Yeah.
So tell us about those certifications, what they are and why you decided to go down that route.
See, again, certification is going to add value to your resume, right? So advisable if you don't have experience to a certification, because that's going to add value to your resume. But again, it's good to have a experience, then do a certifications, because you understand what certification is talking about.
Yeah.
You can connect with the real-time experience, what you did, what you worked. So this certifications, like I did supply chain certifications, I did data science certifications. This really helped me because if you see for my industry, supply chain is all moving towards digitalization.
Yeah.
So for digitalization, I need to know what's data science is, what is data analytics is. So all these certifications help me to take my career to the next step. Again, it depends when you want to do, depending if you have experience, do later stage. If you don't, just do initially. So that it's going to help you in whatever way it could be.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Shivam, when you returned to India,
Yeah.
how easy was it to find a job?
Yeah.
And how did the experiences in the US
Yeah.
help you find a job that you really liked?
See, again, it's a challenge because first challenge is packages. You don't have the same packages in India, but again, the expenses is quite high in US. So it's more or less same thing, right? But when you come back, you're bringing that experience to the table for the companies. So that's really helped. And again, you can do network through LinkedIn. You can apply on Naukri.com or whatever the job listing applications are. But that experience help you because the companies understand what you worked in US, which companies you worked in, and what you bring to the table, what challenges you have faced.
Yeah.
So that value addition is bringing to the company in India. So I was working for a eco-friendly products, which really helped me because that company was exporting out to US also. So my US experience, they really helped me to export things from here.
Yeah.
So that's how it got connected. And down the line, I started my own journey.
Yeah.
We can go in detail, but to answer the question is, your experience in US and what challenges you face, what you bring to the table can help the companies here and get the relevant job.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And for me, this is a very important point, right?
Yeah.
For students to understand is that, of course, there are challenges.
Yeah.
And we have outlined those challenges.
Yeah.
But even if you do a STEM course and if you are not lucky enough for the H1B to be picked up in the 3 attempts,
Yeah.
and you have to return back to India, that's nowhere near the end of the world. There
Yeah.
are so many options in India. Can you talk a little bit about that? Availability of options in India, maybe some of your other friends that have returned back to India.
Yeah.
And what are there and your overall judgment on your investment, both time and money,
Yeah.
of doing an overseas masters and then you're not being able to stay in the US for longer term.
Yeah.
Some folks might view that negatively. But
Yeah.
I personally don't.
Yeah.
And I would love for you to bring out that perspective for our viewers as well.
See, to be honest, I think one individual should have clarity in his life, what they want to achieve. Like, do you want to stay in US for the long term? That's one thing. Or you want to come back to India and build a legacy. That's something you should have clarity. But that clarity comes with experience.
Yeah.
It doesn't come from day one, like you fresh out of your college, and that clarity doesn't come.
Yeah.
But again, see, it's not like for me, like, did everything, whatever I could, like getting a scholarship, working in good companies.
Yeah.
And even then I'm coming back to India. So that something was my personal call.
Yeah.
Because I had the option of applying for a PhD, which I did to stay there more. But that something was not coming happily from my inside. I was like, that's something I'm not going to stay for another 3 years, study and then work. So again, there are options like EB1 visa is there where you can file for it. You have to write some papers to showcase like you are capable enough or expert in this category, in this field, so that the lawyer in US can file green card for you.
Yeah.
So that something is a personal choice, right? For me, I wanted to come back and balance my personal life. Also, I wanted to spend time with my family.
Yeah.
Because I was away from long time.
Yeah.
So that's one of the thing. But again, as we mentioned, you can build a business here now. Indian government is providing so much fund for the startups, right? Like till next, which I know they're giving. But again, there are good number of opportunities in India too. Like if you see Bangalore, Delhi NCR, Chennai, Pune, Mumbai, there are all the metro cities has so much opportunities. What you bring to the table is they're going to help. It's going to be beneficial for them. So it's not the end of the road, I would say. And even down the line, if you worked in India and you feel there is a challenges like traffic challenges or work-life balances challenges, because in US, like we are very strict about work-life, but which in India we're still not used to it. If you want to go back, there are still options. Like you can for PhD, as we discussed, you can file a EB1 category from here or O1 visa. There are options.
Yeah.
But one should have a clarity.
Yeah.
What do they want to do, right? That's more important. As you could see in my case, I am building a business and with my brother from last 2 years, and we are very successful in that category.
Yeah.
So again, it's something come with the time. The mindset come with the time. The clarity come with the time. So yeah, that's how I'm going to let you know how things are. Yeah.
So Shivam, looking back,
Yeah.
on your journey, well, I would say after you decided to go overseas for your education,
Yeah.
is there anything that you feel that you should have done differently?
Yeah.
And if so, and how does that translate into maybe something that you would package as an advice
Yeah.
to aspiring students?
Definitely. That's a really nice question. See, it depends on the country you're going into. Right? For US, it's very tech-driven economy. If you see, like all these startups in California, like Facebook, Google, everyone based out in California and US. So I could feel from my experience, it's a very tech-driven. So it's good for me, like I was coming from automotive engineering, then I did my supply chain. Then I was doing data science certifications.
Yeah.
So I was able to fill the gap where I was missing, right? So that's something if I was aware in India itself, I could have done, apart from my experience, I could have done certification in India and then went for a master's in data science. That will be more easy for me, like to stay more right in US.
Right.
So it's again going to understand what economy you're getting into, what they are doing actually. Supply chain is big in US. It's not like in US economy works in supply chain, logistic.
Yeah.
If you see all the companies like Shipbop, Amazon, all are supply chain companies originally, retail companies, supply chain companies, Walmart, their supply chain is really nice, logistic wise and everything. But again, to stay more, like if I've done data science, I could stay more because my H1 must have picked because of the more technical role and I could stay there for more time. But again, to answer your question is, understand which country going into, how the economy is driven. Like in India, still we are very commodity-based economy. If you say India, we buy things, we sell things. It's a very commodity-based economy. And we also focusing on AI, data science, which we're happening now, which were already like US is still ahead of us. So just to answer your question is, what things I could have done data science, I could stay there more. But again, it's a learning. Which I'm happy to share with the students.
Yeah.
First, understand what you're getting into, and then prepare accordingly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Shivam, thank you so much for giving us your time.
Yeah.
And the insights that you shared, the journey you had. I'm sure it's going to be super valuable for our viewers and listeners.
Yeah.
We really, really appreciate you taking time, especially as an entrepreneur. I understand that every minute and hour that you have is precious and devoted to the business.
Agree. Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you. I wish good luck to the students, and then they can reach out to me if I have any doubts.
Really appreciate it. And if they do want to reach out to you, is there a way that's easy? Maybe your LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, through my LinkedIn, they can reach out to me, and then I mention everything there. If they have some doubts, I'm happy to help them.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll make sure to link your LinkedIn profile in this video.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Did you enjoy this conversation with Shivam? If you have any questions, share them with me in comments. Stay tuned for more stories and advice from those who have made their mark abroad. Subscribe to Videshi Chai to be updated.